At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm excited that you joined us for your evening here to wrap up what has been an eventful weekend across North Mississippi, but thankfully we're starting to see drier conditions return to North Mississippi, and thankfully that's going to stick with us for the rest of the work week ahead. So let's just hop right into this broadcast and get going with our headlines. Survey results from last night's system. We're going to be covering that coming up in just a little bit with some tornadoes that made its way into Mississippi, thankfully sticking in the southern portions of our viewing area, but covering those and of course some more that will be coming out as the week continues. But also that spring weather, it is arriving earlier. We have been enjoying above average conditions for a while now here in North Mississippi. That's going to continue and get even warmer. Potentially talk about some record-breaking temperatures for your Thursday. All of that's coming up later on in this broadcast as well. And of course, there we go. Record-breaking temps. That's the third headline. So Thursday, that's going to be the day to watch, and it will be fun to kind of see if that verifies. So make sure to continue to stay updated and in tune with us all week long here with Mississippi Live Weather. But let's take a look at the first 12 as we track out the rest of our Sunday night and get ready for our eventful Monday morning. We're starting off with low 50s by 11 o'clock, cooling off towards the upper 40s by 2. Still seeing these overcast, cloudy conditions pretty much all night long into your Monday morning. Going to wake up with that blanket of cloud cover still in the upper 40s. And then we're going to already warm up, be in the upper 50s by 11 o'clock in that cloud cover. Going to start moving on out, drifting on out of North Mississippi, start to see more sunshine in the afternoon hours ahead. Now let's take some live looks across North Mississippi. This is out there in Oxford. 48 degrees, feels like 45. You could see the clouds a little bit earlier, gloomy forecast, but definitely not gloomy for all the Rebels fans out there. Y'all got the sweep in baseball. Run ruled them today is what I've heard from one of my friends. So definitely good news for y'all's baseball program out there. So glad to see that Mississippi State and Ole Miss off to a good start for their baseball season. We're going to see those cloudy conditions continue into the overnight skies as y'all celebrate. But same thing out here in Columbus, 54 degrees, feels like 54. Some double-digit winds coming out of the north around 12 miles per hour, but pretty calm. Everybody seems to be inside and done for the night as you wrap up your Sunday night and get ready for your Monday morning as the work week kicks off, but still dry conditions are going to continue. Now Greenville, 52 degrees, feels like 52 as well. You can still see those overcast skies across North Mississippi. Feels like values, same thing in that dew point, still around the mid 40s. So still showing all that moisture in our atmosphere. Thankfully not falling. We are staying dry all night long. That's going to continue to be the story into our work week ahead. But speaking of those dry conditions, let's take a look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar. We're not tracking out anything across North Mississippi. I know me and my friends went to dinner earlier tonight, had a few kind of mistings occurring across North Mississippi, just sprinkling just a little bit here in Tupelo. But that's about it. We're staying dry, maybe seeing a drop or two, but we are going to continue to stay dry all night long and definitely into your Monday ahead. Going to be a dry work week. One of the things that's responsible for that, let's take a look at our surface analysis. There's that low pressure system that moved on through North Mississippi last night, bringing those heavier showers, especially the further south along the coastline. That's continued to do so all day today, pretty much into Alabama, Florida, now starting to exit and enter into the Atlantic Ocean. But this high pressure system, that's going to be the next story as it moves on into North Mississippi. And with that, going to keep us in a stable atmosphere, but also keep us dry and start to see clearer conditions return. I know we're all a bit over this cloud cover. Thankfully, it'll start moving out eventually. So let's try to look at that real quick on Futurecast. We can still see those overcast conditions by 10 o'clock tonight. But as we continue into the overnight period, we're going to see that continue to just kind of hover over North Mississippi, blanketing us as we fall asleep tonight. But here comes that high pressure system mid-morning kind of crossing into North Mississippi. But by lunchtime at 1 o'clock, we can see that cloud cover already shifting on out of our area. So starting to see a lot more sunshine here in the Magnolia State, especially the further east you are from I-55. For the southern portions of the Delta, might still see a cloudy day all day tomorrow, but eventually that cloud cover is going to continue moving on out as you get ready for the work week. Next 24, going to show exactly that. We're starting off pretty cloudy in the mid 40s by 6 o'clock, working our way up towards the low 60s by lunchtime, seeing mostly clear conditions start to return. And of course, clearer skies by the afternoon hours around temperatures around 67 degrees, cooling off talking about low 50s by that 10 o'clock broadcast hour tomorrow night. So don't go anywhere. We want to talk about those damage surveys with those tornado tracks that moved across our area in Magnolia State. We're covering where that was and also what the rest of your work week entails. All that's coming up right after this break. After I click the screen, because I did not do that as I was in a rush. So let's do that real quick. Let me find my mouse after this break.
Game day brings its ups and downs. Celebration and disappointment. Anxiety and relief. Friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
You wonder how they're going to experience the real world in real safety, where all kids are welcome and everyone has a path forward to new skills, advancement, leadership, something they will carry with them the rest of their lives.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I was checking the comments in between the break because I know we had some audio issues during the 6 o'clock. It looks like we got that figured out. Nobody's commenting on any audio issues or feedback issues, so looks like we got that fixed for you guys. But we did see a question. Someone was asking on the first 12 and the 7-day, where's the weather station you guys use for those temps? So those are actually forecasted values that I put in myself. It's not pulling from anything. And we're usually using that for Tupelo area, but just to kind of forecast for all of North Mississippi. So don't know if that specifically answers your question, but most of them pull out from Tupelo, but we go in and kind of change it to effect for all of us here in North Mississippi. But let's take a look at our damage survey. The first one we're going to look at occurred last night, right before midnight. This was out in southern portions of Mississippi. As we take a look here, we can see that it was the Norfield tornado. Peak winds were around 110 miles per hour. That path length, around 6.8 miles. The width around 800. Thankfully, only in EF1. So if we were to see any tornadoes occur, we want them to be as weak as they possibly can. But just showing that still, for a severe weather setup like we had yesterday to where it doesn't look as intense, we can still see those consequences occurring across the southern portions of our Magnolia State. So this was one of them that occurred out there in Norfield, or pretty much just next to it. But we can also look at another one. This occurred after midnight, so back on the 15th, again, coming back to North Mississippi, where we were talking about not really tracking anything severe, not expecting anything severe. You can go to sleep pretty much stress-free, hear that rain hit your roof, maybe hear a rumble of thunder. Thankfully, that verified as we had a good night's sleep last night. But going back down into southern Mississippi, we see yet another tornado that occurred. This was the Enterprise tornado. And I know someone in the comments during the 6 o'clock asked if that was in Alabama. No, this was in southern Mississippi. I know there's those repeated city names all across the United States. So this one's still Mississippi related. Peak winds were around 100 miles per hour and the path length was around 2.1 miles. So a lot shorter and smaller compared to the original track I just showed y'all. That path width was around 200 yards and thankfully still only an EF1 rating. So National Weather Service continuing to give us those results as they send out people to survey and see what all occurred last night. And before we move on and get back into the weather broadcast, we actually got some videos sent in with these tornadoes. So let's take a look at this. This was sent in by Monticello, or out in Monticello, sent in by Lawrence County EMA. So just kind of showing that even with the severe weather setup that we had last night, it can still have some effects with those heavy wind gusts that we were talking about. Let's take another look out there in Bogachito. This was out there and sent in by Serena and Michelle. So just kind of showing that tornado that moved on through, causing that damage across North Mississippi. Still very impactful. Any storm that moves across is impactful and important to us and that we want to make sure to cover for you guys. So definitely kind of just showing that damage that they sent in to us, talking about the weather that moved on. But also, there was another system that moved on through, excuse me, I pressed the wrong button, moved through Thibodaux, Louisiana. So just showcasing that. This was a video sent in by Lexi out there, kind of showcasing the damage. This is not a confirmed tornado as of yet, but I know the National Weather Service will eventually start continuing to send those people out there, get those finalized results. But at the time we're broadcasting tonight, not confirmed at this moment, but still kind of wanted to show you all that video, just showcasing that the damage that you can still experience for a level 1 risk, level 2 risk, before we get into those higher risks, severe weather setups here in North Mississippi, just kind of broadcasting that, especially because last week was severe weather preparedness week. So just wanted to give y'all an update as that thankfully graced through southern Mississippi, not really affecting us, but still very impactful. But take a look at those current conditions right now here in Tupelo. This is 50 degrees, feels like 50. So for those asking the question, this is actually pulling from the weather station out here in Tupelo. 14-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the northeast. 47 degrees is your dew point. So a little bit more saturated, especially with those cloudy skies above, but thankfully are eventually going to move on out of here. But right now, not going to be the case. Futurecast still showing the blanket of cloud cover all across North Mississippi, and it's pretty much going to continue to do so for most of our viewing area. Maybe those out there in Olive Branch, Memphis, DeSoto County, maybe seeing clearer skies, but that cloud cover going to try to build back in just a little bit. Going to be another cloudy start to your Monday, but thankfully not going to last forever. Those low temperatures already mild and going to be a warm start, pretty much mid-40s all across North Mississippi. Our normal should be around 37, as you can see in the top left portion of your screen. So definitely starting above average, going to finish above average, and pretty much going to continue to rise even further above average for the rest of the work week coming up. So take a look at your school day. Going to be a warm day for the kids as they get dropped off to school. 44 is the start of the day for the drop off, warming on up towards the upper 50s by lunchtime. Then they're getting out with sunnier conditions already in the mid to upper 60s. So they are going to be ready to pretty much just bounce off the walls and enjoy a day out there with friends once they get out of class and hopefully not having any homework. I personally have a test at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Very nervous, but I'm ready to get it over with. But coming back to Futurecast, we can still see those partly cloudy and gloomy conditions start to the day across North Mississippi. But thankfully, as we go throughout the rest of our Monday, that high pressure system practically already moving across North Mississippi at this point, showing those clearer conditions across North Mississippi. And like I mentioned earlier, the southern portions of the Delta could still see an all-around just cloudy day as that cloud cover struggles to move on out. But for those east of I-55, you're going to start seeing those clearer conditions pretty much around lunchtime and for the rest of the day, and even into your evening hours around supper time. This is at 7 o'clock, really seeing that cloud cover start to move on out of our area, seeing those mostly clear conditions. So spring-like weather, it's on the way. We can definitely tell that right here with those high temperatures, upper 60s across North Mississippi. This is pretty much 10 degrees above average where we should be for this time of year. 69 out there in Columbus and Amory, 67 Boonville and Oxford, 66 Senatobia, 64 Clarksdale, and 65 out there in Greenville. The best part about this forecast, even though we're really above average and feeling warm, those feels like values, keeping us right there or maybe even dropping us just a little bit to help us out. So anytime you have a break throughout your workday tomorrow or school day, take some time outdoors. You'll definitely be well rewarded. It's going to feel amazing as you go about the day. And of course, with that pickleball planner, had to put that in because I might have to do some stress relief after that test tomorrow morning. Going to be a beautiful day outside to enjoy any activity. But if you want to start out the day, mid 40s by 7 o'clock before any work responsibilities, low 60s by lunchtime, upper 60s by the afternoon hours. But even by the time you get off work, head home, hit the courts, it'll be upper 50s by 7 o'clock with those clearer skies above. Going to be a beautiful way to end your Monday. Now coming back to Futurecast, notice how this model not showing any of that cloud cover. So I know for me and everyone down there in southern portions of the Delta, rooting on this model for you guys so y'all can start enjoying the sunshine as well, but showing a clearer night sky throughout Monday night and into your Tuesday. And that's going to be the story. I'm letting this play through all Tuesday night. We're not tracking out any system moving on through, besides maybe some cloud cover trying to build in just a little bit. But notice, not going to be that cloudy of a start as compared to our Sunday today and our Monday tomorrow. Going to be a much more beautiful day. But take a look at that southerly wind. That's allowing us to feel warmer for our Tuesday as compared to our Monday. That's going to be the trend heading into the rest of the work week. But continuing throughout lunchtime on your Tuesday, still expecting those dry conditions, that moisture building in just a little bit thanks to that southerly wind with that cloud cover, but still very thin, very high wispy clouds in nature, experiencing pretty much a mostly clear, partly cloudy day. Even by lunchtime, still enjoying those conditions, warmer conditions. That's going to continue into your Tuesday evening as well. But that cloud cover building on in a lot more. This model trying to pick up some chances of rainfall. I'm still not really high on them. I'm expecting most of us to stay dry all night long Tuesday and into your Wednesday. But notice, like I mentioned earlier, this is the lightest shade of green on our scale, very minute, showing maybe somewhere you can see a sprinkle or two, and that's occurring at 1 o'clock. So even if this does verify, most of us won't even realize it happened. We're not tracking any widespread rain chances Tuesday night into your Wednesday morning, still expecting that to stay dry. But those high temperatures for your Tuesday, like I just mentioned, going to be a lot warmer as compared to your Monday. Now we're talking about low 70s across North Mississippi. 71 in Columbus and Starkville in the Golden Triangle region, 72 in Bruce and Grenada, 67 pretty much along the Mississippi River for Tunica, Clarksdale, and Cleveland, and 70 out there in Greenville. Those feels like values still pretty much identical to the actual temperatures outdoors. Going to be a beautiful Tuesday. Unfortunately, kind of wish this was occurring throughout the weekend so we can actually enjoy these and not be stuck inside for most of the day. Hopefully we can start to see that pop up more on the weekend. Fortunately, those rain chances, they're making their way back in the wrong time. But like I mentioned, upper 60s tomorrow for your Monday, still above average, but enjoy them because it only gets warmer from here. Low 70s mid 70s for your Wednesday. Then we're talking about upper 70s Thursday, potentially low 80s from some spots across North Mississippi. And that could be some record-breaking highs for our Thursday this work week. Make sure to continue to stay updated because that'll be very interesting to see if that verifies. Very fun to kind of track out, seeing each model if it actually verifies, and of course Thursday being the big day. Then those rain chances Friday and Saturday. Right now only a 20 and 30% chance. More confidence on your Saturday, hoping those can either drop or start to move on out because we'd rather see these rain chances throughout the work week, not bothering us on our weekend. But I want to check on the comments real quick before I wrap this up. Looks like the audio is fine and people are rather wanting to play pickleball than an exam. I'm right there with you guys. I will be playing pickleball as soon as I finish my exam tomorrow because it'll be an interesting one. But I'm glad I enjoyed another weekend with you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. It was an amazing weekend with you guys. Of course, talking about those rain chances moving on out. Thankfully, not talking about anything severe. And we got a nice warmer work week coming up. But of course, here's the iOS and Android QR code to our app. We appreciate all the support you have given us. We appreciate all the feedback as well because we want to make sure anything that's not working, especially like those audio issues during the 6 o'clock, you let us know so we can get it fixed. And that's why it is top notch for you guys as fast as we can. Of course, we'll be back towards our weekday schedule tomorrow morning with our morning meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, at 6:30, 7, and 7:30, as she will be waking up bright and early with you guys, ready to get y'all ready for the day as y'all go throughout y'all's Monday, prepared for the work week. And of course, we'll be live at 5, 6, and 10 in the Room to Room Weather Center with our chief meteorologist, Matt Laubon, and meteorologist Gabe Maynor as they help you wind down from potentially stressful or just busy workday and getting you ready for the next one. But again, I've enjoyed another weekend here with you guys. Already looking forward to the next one. And we'll see y'all back here in the Room to Room Weather Center.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laubon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laubon has proven himself trustworthy.